Let it roll off your back and let it slip off your tongue before you lose your loving and it's right back where you started from. Slip off your tongue, loving and it's back to start.
Let's just face it, alright? You're gonna be locked up for a good while.
Yeah, just shut the fuck up and eat my tortellini's, bitch. I'm the fucking tortellini master. Oh yeah, he is, man. He's the tortellini master, for real.
Kept you waiting, huh? Well, it is what it is. Tonight we have Underhell Chapter 1, which, as you probably guessed, is the sequel to the Underhell prologue that came out a few years before it. I did make a video about it a few months ago, but in case you didn't watch that, or you forgot what happened, let me show you a little reminder. Ah, great, we're all caught up now. This is a mod I kept putting off as a kid because the prologue was just so fun, running around shooting people and kicking doors in, that every time I tried to play Chapter 1, I'd just sort of get bored of it. Chapter 1 is a bit more of a different beast when compared to the prologue. The prologue was a bit more of a linear game, kinda like Half-Life or Fear, where you were at the base level of the game just shooting people and figuring out where to go next. The prologue was also really good and probably peaked Source Engine when it comes to versus AI gameplay, while Chapter 1 is a bit of a different. Instead, it's more of a survival horror experience where you're mainly fighting zombies and occasionally people shooting at you. The zombies are also more like Left 4 Dead where they rush at you instead of shambling around like a bunch of bad salt-addicted hobos. It's also way more storage and has actual character this time around. Great, now that's out of the way, let's figure out why I didn't like it the first time. I think I figured out why. The first 30 minutes are just as slow as hell, you walking around the prison being escorted by a guard. But the best way to entertain yourself is to get attacked by the guards. The first time I played Half-Life 2, I spent like an hour just throwing shit at the cops at the train station and making them follow me, so I really like this. This is taking me like 10 years back. The cops make me take a shower and he's just staring at me like that.
The thug shaker. Give me the thug shaker, dude. Shake your ass.
Sorry, I have no idea how did that make any editing. Anyway. Damn, did the devs record conversations from civil protection roleplayers from Half-Life 2 RP to write these guys? Well anyway, this dude is giving us a really slow exposition tour of the facility. Let's do a little history lesson. We are Jay Cockfield, a 30-something-year-old doomer, who is a member of SWAT who is also part of the US Army for whatever reason, and whose wife recently committed suicide in the most mysterious circumstances. One day, we wake up and our best friend and mentor, Frank, calls us and tells us there's bad guys who took over a hospital and we need to handle it. So we go there and we find out that the guys who took it over are just a bunch of mercenaries and that they took the hostages somewhere else. So we go through a wild goose chase until we find them in some underground complex where we get captured, then gassed with something that makes Jake go monkey mode and kill everyone. Then some dudes come to us in the police precinct and take us away to some black site somewhere in Arizona. Anyway, back to Chapter 1 now. I can't believe they got the real Gordon Freeman to make a cameo in this game. By listening to the people talking, we can sort of make out the fact that there seems to be some sort of infection going around, and it's been killing people, including at least one guard and some inmates. Now, this place ain't exactly a summer colony, so I don't think whoever runs the jail cares if some inmates die of syphilis, or whatever they like to spread among each other, but if the guards start dying, that's gonna raise up some suspicion, don't you think? Well, it looks like the only attention our guard friends got are just gas masks and pats on the back. This game is so realistic, I can't believe it.
There are no gas masks. People are dying, and it appears to be completely random. You heard about Rick? Yeah, I heard about Rick.
After literally 15 minutes of walking, we finally make it to our cells, and then as we go to bed, Damn, where the hell is everyone gone? Bingo? Oh, come on, what is this? Ocean Gate? I don't know if it's an Easter egg, but I keep seeing a cube map reflection of Jake's house. But you know what? Considering all of this flooding, I think it's safe to say that this prison was built by the lowest.
Hey, you! Warden wants to see you. Get yourself cleaned up. I'll see you at the lock.
Okay, so it was just a dream, huh? The warden wants to see us. He likes to give speeches to the new transfers. His office is at the high security block. Now, I'm not a cop, nor have I worked at a prison, but something tells me the last thing you should put your office is in the high security block.
Hey,
What is it?
I gotta talk to the warden. I'll take it from here. Hey, warden wants to piss in this guy's ears for 20 minutes. Give me that little piece of paper so he can sign it.
You mean the checkpoint?
Yeah, the fuck point. Hey, Baldy, sign it up.
But wait, you're bald too. This dude right here is called Brian. He's a recent transfer to the security team. He used to be in the military up until he got bored of it because of his brother, so he ended up here. He's quite a little funny character. He's kind of a silly goose, if I dare to say. And we're gonna be seeing him for the rest of the month, so that's gonna be funny.
What the hell is that big box supposed to be? Huh? Shit, man, even my grandmama, rest her soul, had a goddamn plasma screen TV.
This game became even more realistic. I know at least 7 other companies that are still using CRTs to this day.
Look,
He also starts telling me about how there's something going on and how people have apparently been dying. Gee, I couldn't figure that out on my own.
if you see someone coughing, just stay away, and you should be fine.
This game came out before COVID, by the way.
I have all the papers out.
So these two idiots are still arguing about getting an inmate here to clean the body up. So in an act of preemptive self-defense.
Hey, that door can't be opened on the inside.
He's gonna be locked up in there. Look, this guy's an asshole. As far as I'm concerned, there's just a lot of wind down there. Door just shut itself.
I didn't see nothing.
If anyone asks, we never spoke. Yo.
Hello there.
The warden's an interesting character according to the others. He'll also talk about philosophy and pissing in people's ears apparently to the newcomers. But for us, it doesn't look like he likes us very much.
Let's just face it, alright? You're gonna be locked up for a good while. And as long as you behave and obey orders, you'll be fine. Now get out of here.
Damn, I think I'm hearing things again.
You're my best friend already.
So that's taken care of. Brian takes us back to the courtyard for lunch. He likes the cut of our jib and tries to make the chef give us something nice, but it doesn't look like he likes me very much neither. I wonder why.
You know, for a nice welcome.
Special something only for security. The inmate.
Oh, come on, man. Where did your solidarity go?
I give you burrito, not him.
Alright, fine. Give me a burrito. Jake, here, have my burrito.
Don't mind if I do.
You Americans. So disrespectful.
You think you can keep me here forever? You took advantage of me and my brother, signing for a 20 years contract. You think this
Should have read the fine ink, brother. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, bye. Right, well, we are at the end of this intro, and in the next few minutes, shit is gonna go down and the real game is actually gonna start. And this is where things branch out just for a little bit. If you stay here in the cafeteria and listen to the NPCs argue,
This place is big.
I know. I've seen the center. It's like a goddamn building, but underground. What is this place, man?
It goes deeper underground.
What?
The inmates have been sent to deliver them to the core. Everyone will get their clean clothes and you can rest easy tonight.
Alright.
And FYI, not
did
the
this nerd
entire
seriously just say
episode,
FYI out loud?
there's
Okay,
at
I'm
least
out of
3
here.
others.
Eventually, the inmates almost start a riot because they're not getting gas masks, even though all of the guards have one.
Do you know? Yeah, you got the right to shut the fuck up. I suggest you reply that. What the hell? You're just gonna let it die one by one? Alright.
This dude with the British accent called Terry, who is also the chief of security, shows up and calms down the situation and orders everyone to go back to their cuck cages. Or we can avoid that whole sitting around in the cafeteria and instead go back to our own cell, because Jake is a Sigma male, he doesn't need to socialize. Until...
Remember that break I asked you to take? Well, take it now. A tiny little bird flying round and round and round came to spread the word that you're a fucking pig.
what?
What's that? You don't like poetry? Well, I doubt you're gonna like this, Mr. Ex-Cop.
That's kind of a big knife. I thought inmates were all about toothbrushes and stuff.
When I catch you, I'm a...
A conveniently placed pipe falls down which we can use as a weapon. I also need to spam E on it to grab it or else it won't work. Aw man. Again, this is where things branch out for just a little bit. If we lose the fight, we get sent to the infirmary.
Don't move. You'll be fine.
You should see the other guy. Yeah. But out here in the Fed's a gaming company with Sigma males, so we're gonna win.
Take it, boy. Take it, boy. Take it, boy.
I guess I really am the boss of this gym, huh? Wait, no, I didn't mean it. Please, no, I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry. If we win the fight, we instead get sent to the high security block, next to all of the schizos and the dangerous people. I hope they don't throw me in the same cell as the dudes I locked in. Right, that was the intro. Definitely a bit on the longer side of things, especially with all that goddamn walking, but it's just so full of fluffy details, I can't help but love it now. So we awake again and I guess everyone went trick-or-treating. This is where the actual game starts now. We are alone, in the dark, with nowhere to go, and we don't know what happened, and most importantly, it seems everyone is either gone or turned into zombies. There are PDAs scattered around which gives us info on what's going on. This one mentions that 2 guards were found locked in a cell with an infected body. I wouldn't know anything about that. After some crawling, I found a flashlight, which we will need for basically the rest of the game. If you're too poor for flashlights, there's glow sticks that you can use to light up the area, but they somehow don't alert enemies. Vents are our best friends. We don't have a weapon, we don't have any allies. Our best bet to deal with the zombies so far is to either hide in a closet or a vent. And if you're wounded, you're kinda boned because the medical lockers are all locked. Apparently it's because some inmates kept breaking in to sell drugs. There are also fuck points spread all around the base for us to save our game at. Manual saving is disabled in this game. It is a real tactical immersive experience after all. Our objective so far is to get out of the security block. If we hadn't fought Tyrone, we will be trying to get out of our cell block instead. After a lot of crawling, we are officially out of the man cave and back into civilization, even though it's just a few blocks down. The cafeteria is looking a little more dead than usual. I guess Terry should have let Tyrone start his little revolution. Fuck's sake. While getting away from the zombies, I made my way into a vent. Look up. Keep going. This vent is one way, I don't think anyone can get lost in here. But it turns out we're not the only ones who like to take the vents.
I hope you're happy. You broke my booby trap with your face. Do you know how long it took me to engineer this mechanism?
Yeah, wait a second, that's not Gordon Freeman.
It was a piece of shit anyways. Damn.
This guy is the Hermit. I don't think he has a specific name. He's the local hobo that the company hired to clean the vents and kill any rats that might want to come here. He also runs his own economy with the inmates by trading chocolate bars and cigarettes. You gotta respect a man who makes his own rules, I gotta tell you.
Hey, maybe you can bring me a new card deck.
He also gives me a secondary quest. Collect 5 cards so he can do a magic trick, and in exchange he will give me a wrench to open vents with. Sounds easy enough. Not gonna ask why are there so many cards spread around a high security penitentiary though. We can also use his hideout as a base to save our game at and rest up. while listening to his weird-ass ramblings. This dude is basically Norbark Noonan from New Vegas but with a southern accent.
You know, rats are pretty cool. Do you know how they don't get lost around these vents? They have these little pus balls under their feet, which leaves like a smelly trail so they can find their way back. Just like Hansel and Gretel with the candy. If only they knew that's how I actually managed to track them down, smash them with my pipe. Poor little things.
On our way out, we rip out a pipe for self-defense, just like the founding fathers intended. We also remember our trademark feature, the kick. You can kick zombies' asses or bust doors in, or curb stomp dead people so you can steal their helmets. A PDA tells us that we can get around by going through the butchery, which in itself is in the kitchen, which is in the cafeteria, which is full of infected. And to make it worse, the butchery is locked with a key back at the warden's office in the high security block. Stealth attack! They never see it coming. Zombies really are one of the enemies ever, in the sense that they always act like you expect them to, though they sometimes have a few moments of clarity. I think I have proof that the infected are smarter than we thought because this little scamp led me into a trap. Zombies really aren't the sharpest tool in the shed, except when they're chasing you. They'll never let you go unless you hide or kill them. They're like pit bulls chasing down an unintended toddler. While trying to run away, I found the key to the warden's office, alongside a picture of his daughter. I'm sure she'll be fine.
Every once in a while, I have to sweep by and remove the dead rats. Because when they rot, they do something nasty to the air. Sometimes when I'm sweeping by the vents, I find dead bodies. I mean, human dead bodies. And they're all dressed in orange, and I don't get it. Why don't they use the elevators like everybody else? Why do they have to try and use the vents to get around? Well, that's my job.
We have the butchery keys, we can say goodbye to our home, the high security block, and now to find the goddamn kitchen keys. According to the board, we can find them in the east block. That's just a little walk from our cell.
I think I owe you something, boy.
While screwing around, I managed to find the cards for our good friend.
Now wait, was it a hammer or a screwdriver?
It actually was a beer opener.
What you gonna do with it anyway? I mean, what do you need pliers for?
After so much goddamn walking, we're finally through to the kitchen. The main reward, of course, is the fridge with 10 million calories, all for us to consume. Alright, we're finally through to the kitchen. Let's hope that What's-His Name is not around here. He didn't look very happy to meet us in the intro. Jake should have been a detective instead of a SWAT officer. Oh shit, it's the commie. Igor or Victor, I don't remember which one this is mad at us because we stole his burrito and now he's out for our blood. His boss fight is kinda underwhelming. He's bald, he charges at me, and he's fucking invincible, so he automatically reminds me of Sundowner from Metal Gear Rising. Beating him up with my pop is out of the question. Instead, when he charges at me, I gotta lure him into the support beams so the catwalk collapses, and he falls into the knee grinder like a dumbass. He has a high tendency to crash the game because of his ragdoll, by the way. Now that we can finally get out of here, we seem to run into the chef mafia who wants payback for what we've done. So we start running until...
Who the hell are you?
Ah, god damn it, it's the Redditor.
Calm down. It's not one of them.
Oh yeah? How do you know? Why don't you calm down, Terry?
You don't get to tell me what to do.
Oh yeah? And why is that?
1, Junior, I am still Chief of Security. 2, I know this place better than you. 3, I was in the Falklands when you were still wet in the fucking bed. I know this base like the back of my hand, and I'm saying now that if we want to get out of here alive, we've got to work as a team, because we're at the bottom floor of a 5-story underground complex that isn't even supposed to exist.
This is a nice way to do exposition on where we are. I will speed things up along and introduce you to the characters because they're gonna be here for the rest of the mod, so you gotta start to tolerate them a bit. Brian we already met, and that's his brother Junior. Brian got into the US Army Rangers, but then Junior joined up to be with them, which made Brian quit because he can't focus when his little brother is around. Terry is the chief of security, who's also a Falklands veteran. Ben is the spur computer nerd who runs the intercom and the security systems. His dad served with Terry in the Falklands, where it's hinted that he was killed in action. Hector is kind of a forgettable guy who speaks with the worst impression of a Latino voice actor. Matthew is the physical embodiment of a Redditor, but there's more to him. Then there's Takeo, the silent man. You know he's important because unlike the others who have their faces based off the Half-Life 2 citizens, he has his own standalone face textures. And then there's finally Malcolm, a literally who locked himself somehow in one of the cell blocks. Together, they come up with some sort of a plan. The core, which is the main access to the prison, is locked, because there's not enough power. Because the MGPS, the base's main generator, is being all fucky. What's the MGPS? I'll let Ben explain.
Right, for a simple generator, the system is one big grid, and the generator fills each of the grid squares with power equally. But when one square needs more power, all the others are equally reduced, which sometimes causes low tension, or even completely...
Okay, I had electricity lessons in high school, so I like to think that automatically I know more about this stuff than this guy. Long story, we're gonna turn off the power on this floor, then go underground to restore the MGPS, which should give enough electricity and open the core so we can GTFO. So just everyone knows, Jake is no longer legally allowed to own a gun. I hope everyone else is okay with that. So me and my trustworthy companion Hector have to go to the power room on this floor and turn it off.
So, what's your story? You killed your wife and kids or something?
Tax
I
fraud.
don't send you here unless you're a killer. Did you hear that?
The first power relay that we're gonna turn off is on the east block.
Whoa, shit. It's dark out there. Shh. Did you hear that?
Was that your stomach? Alright, 2 power rooms to go. I was gonna go visit the hermit to save the game, but Hector kept crying about it being left alone in the dark. I'm sure there's nothing out there.
People have been dying for days. I think it's related to what is going on now. I think it's like an infection. Like rabies for dogs, you know?
Buddy, have you considered a career as a private investigator when you're out of here? Oh boy. Okay, I lied. We're gonna go back to the high security block.
It's in the control room at the far end of the high security block.
Holy shit! Watch out! All the high security block cells just opened. They're running towards you. Barricade yourselves in there!
What did he say? Did you get it? Holy shit! Shoot through the windows!
Okay, so we turned it off, and I believe that we have overstayed our welcome. So Ben is trying to warn us about some big thing coming through when...
This way!
Oh no, they threw a saw blade with the gravity gun at him! Sundowner is back, and he really is fucking invincible. He's still about as dumb though. I guess necromancy can't fix everything. Friendship ended with the high security block, and now the vents are my best friends. We're gonna have to link up with Matthew to turn off the power on the western L wing. It's called the L-Wing because it's literally shaped like an L, not as in loss. I think Ben is lying to me because Matthew is on the east side of the wing, not the northeast wing. And it's funny because... fuck's sake. Shotgun, you can blame me. After some crab walking through a corridor, we meet some new friends.
Freeze!
Jake? It's alright, everyone. Lower your weapons. He's with me.
So, he's part of your little group, isn't he?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he is.
Another guard? I don't remember him. Which wing did he come from?
He's a recent transfer.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
He's new here.
So there's Eric, another guard, who is kind of a prick and asks too many questions, and he's got his friends here whose names I forgot, but don't worry, they're not that important. Matthew runs him through our little plan and
I'm still not convinced though. Everyone, on me!
Hey, Malcolm. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Who are you?
it's me, Matthew, from General Electrics, don't you remember me?
He's guiding us through the ring.
We're gonna go turn off the power in the west wing, but first we gotta go make sure that we don't get sandwiched, so we have to go back to make sure the doors are opened, while the others are gonna set up barricades. Because turning off the power attracts every inmate in the block for whatever reason. The doors are open, we are Gucci and ready to go. We're gonna have to make a stand here before we move. Halfway through our jog, our nameless friend over here gets his feet grabbed by some giant vent rat. His sacrifice will be remembered. Yeah, suck it up.
Hey, just take a deep breath. You're safe now. You made it. Just keep walking, alright? Don't think yet.
And now that the power is turned off on this floor, we gotta go underground to restart the MGPS generator. And we run into Brian, who sneaked off to help us.
Can't babysit his sorry ass every time we get some action. But he's sleeping right now, so it's all good. God damn it, Junior!
There we go.
Merry fucking Christmas, everybody! Uh-oh. Oh, crap.
Now that the power is off, that Malcolm fella can finally link up with us. And now we get introduced to the airlock minigame. It's not really one, but I'm calling it that as a code because, well, we're gonna be doing this for the rest of the game, so follow me for a second here. The switch on the left opens or closes the door on the left, while the right one does the same thing to the right door. As for the middle, it might as well be a terraforming device because I have no idea what it does actually in-universe. I mean, it triggers the map load for us, the players, but in-game it doesn't do anything. So I guess the NPCs have to literally watch the entire fabric of existence fall apart and rebuild in front of their eyes. Man, if we had a grappling hook, we could just shoot a rope up there, and that's it, the game would be over. But of course the source engine doesn't allow for cool stuff like this. So Sundowner found Malcolm and he ain't too happy.
Malcolm, what's happening? Malcolm, you've got to open the door and let the others in right now.
Malcolm, what's going on?
And Terry seems to have zero social skills and keeps screaming at him to open the door, even though the poor guy is getting eviscerated by a giant bald Russian man.
Get ready. Clear.
The second casualty of the little Underhell crew. I'm sure no one else will have unfortunate accidents.
Negative, Terry.
Oh, what the?
Ben, Terry, there's a train here. Where does it
It's
lead?
It's
Train? What train?
We find a train on our way down, but it can only be activated by the core command, which is on level 5, which means that we have to go all the way up, then all the way down, which is pretty hard and also a waste of time, because if we're up there on level 5, we might as well just, you know, get out of there. We turned off the power on our level, and now all we have to do is restore the MGPS, which is gonna allow us to get to the top floors, which is gonna get us the hell out of here.
Matthew?
Damn it. Ben, the lift is a no-go. Any other way to get down there?
Let me see.
Our express elevator that leads straight down there is of course broken. So the only way we're gonna get down there is the...
Nick, good news. We're going down in this sewer.
I am not climbing into... Ah, screw it, let's go.
I hate to be right.
Why are we going through there, goddammit?
I'm sad we can't push Brian down there.
Slip in, stay sharp.
Stay sharp? What the fuck, man? You think the poop monster's gonna eat us?
It's kinda funny how Brian, who got into the US Army Rangers, and currently works at the literal SCP Foundation, and his only weakness is dirty water. It kinda reminds me of this one saying from Bill Vaughan. A citizen of America will cross the ocean to fight for democracy, but he won't cross the street to vote in a national election.
Stop moving.
I think the poop monster found us, boys.
I heard it. It's behind us.
When even Jake's inner monologue is in all caps, you know things are pretty bad. As we attempt to run, we trip into a conveniently placed turret, which takes us down the convenient canals, which inconveniently leads us to a barrier that breaks our fall but also breaks our leg, and makes us lose our inventory. We are now about as bitchesless as we are weaponless. Forever a tragedy. You can take away a man's Glock, but his kicking leg, that's just straight up not fair. 10 years in the joint has made Jake into a pussy indeed. Alright, well, it's back to survival horror gameplay, and thankfully the last time. There's also only one zombie in this entire section, but he seems to be even more rabid than anyone else, because he doesn't let go of me at all. When I get a weapon again, I'm going back specifically just to kill that guy. The best strategy is not to actually hide and stay stealthy, but actually outrun the zombies. Alright, we found a wrench. And we patch up our leg. We truly are back, Jake bros. I'm going back for that guy though. And I'm gonna wear his helmet as a trophy, of course. In case of fire, break the glass with the Glock 17 inside that's next to a crate full of infinite ammo. Well, looks like we're out of options. The closest thing to us is a warehouse. That should be like close to a landmark, right? Damn, when they said that working at an Amazon warehouse was like slavery, they weren't lying. Jake is gonna sue Jeff Bezos when we're out of here. Around the containers there is this long ass ominous corridor, and at the end of it there's an ammo crate. And when I open it... Alright, this is getting ridiculous. I've probably killed like half of the US prison population by now. As we take the elevator, we get to reflect on our beautiful bald shiny head, and we end up in the even lower parts of the facility. That's a laboratory. Maybe they're studying weapon technology there for the inmates to stab each other with. There also seems to be some sort of weird gas leak going around that kinda looks like the gas that killed us, well, almost killed us back in the prologue. I found a gas mask which should help me navigate around this smog of ball sweat and urine without choking. So, while trying to solve a puzzle, I took a wrong turn through the vents and I ended up in
Hell yeah!
But, and this is kind of a big but I remembered something that the great philosopher J.C. Denton once said.
A bomb's a bad choice for close-range combat.
However, for myself, I don't listen to sense. I'm still taking the grenade launcher. And as you notice right now, Jake is extremely hungry and he needs to meet his daily protein intake or else he'll die. Alright, this is it. The MGPS. It feels like our journey is almost at an end. The last poor sap who was here left a conveniently placed PDO that details the rebooting process. All we have to do is okay, yeah, that doesn't sound complicated at all. Alright, that's the first breadcrumb for us done. All of this running will be the end of Jake. I am a scared, tired, lonely, and hungry man. This rebooting part is basically a wild goose chase trying to run from one corner of the underground to the other, activating valves and stuff while attracting every infected around somehow. But it's okay because the soundtrack of this part goes extremely hard. And the best part is that the dude who made it is Tom Stoffel, the same dude who voiced Brian. More proof that he is indeed the best character. I strategically led the zombies back here so I can use my grenade launcher. They never expected, they never expected. And that's it, we have successfully rebooted the generator. It only costed us a grenade launcher, one guard, like 10 mags of ammo, and Jake's kicking leg.
Well, you're alive, and you restarted the generator. I'm guessing you had to turn everything off in order to reboot it. Yeah, thanks for that. We were stuck in there during the whole time.
Well, what the hell was I supposed to do?
Although I do wonder if turning off all power was a good idea. I'm aware you had no choice, but the entire base was out of power during the rebooting sequence.
Okay, so first you mope and cope because you had to stay in an elevator for like 2 minutes and now you gaslight me. Alright, screw you, Matthew.
Figured out how to reboot the generator on your own, huh? I'm impressed.
Like I said, I took electricity in high school.
Poor Malcolm. I swear, if I ever catch the son of a bitch that got him, I'm gonna stick my gun so far up his ass that that bullet will just come straight out his mouth when I shoot.
So Brian is telling us about his childhood and how he had to fight poop monsters for a living when...
What the hell?
Maybe it's made out of chocolate. Now the thing is, our god friends over here have had zero contact with the surface ever since this started, while the radars are perfectly working. This means that whoever landed the chopper probably isn't really here to rescue us. Terry had told us that they're setting up shop in the firing range that's up on the cantina. So we're going up there until... Don't shoot, we're with the security team.
We just got here, Ben. We did not start shooting at you.
What? Then who did?
Probably those piles of meat lying here on the floor.
What? What happened? Flippin' heck. What happened to those guys?
Junior? What the? Talk to me, Terry.
He's alright, no organs were hit. The bullet went in and out, he'll be fine.
Oh, I see all blurry. And what is this bell ringing?
That would be the morphine.
Pretty sure if you took morphine you probably even won't be talking right now. Takio, who no one has seen since we first met, has just reappeared. Let's see his reason why.
I thought you were dead. Where the hell were you?
I went to investigate a noise, got in trouble, dealt with it, and when I came back you were gone.
Yeah, sounds convincing enough.
The security network. As easy as pie, really. I've got
So Ben over here managed to get into the security system and found a bunch of useless information, like how the motion doors automatically open are actually thanks to our shoes, who get scanned because they have a chip inside of them. I'm not kidding when I say that this will come in handy later. You also find something else about a code red, which gives Terry a little Vietnam flashback. And we managed to shed some light on the Prologue's events. It's not exactly the first time there was an outbreak of this virus. There was another at another complex, though people got out. Then they called this dude named Ido, who called his Wagner Blackwater Deep State private military company friends, and basically killed everyone who escaped, and even those who came in contact with. And that's what happened to the prologue. That thing about terrorists taking over a hospital was actually just a cover-up for the mercs, kidnapping people related to the outbreak so they be contained. It's a pretty far-fetched plot now I'm thinking back at it, but hey, like he said, the bigger the lie, the more people will believe. Our 10,000 IQ conspiracy talk is interrupted when we see some survivors on the CCTVs. Alright, new game mode, hostage rescue from Counter-Strike. Basically, we get thrown into this huge area, we gotta find the randomly generated survivors, who are usually in storage closets, and bring them back to our base.
She can walk, but don't expect much from her. She hasn't slept at all. She needs a meal and some rest.
Don't worry, we'll take care of her.
And speaking of base, this is gonna be our base of operations, so quite a big part of the mod. I guess a gun range ain't exactly the worst place to set up at. We can interact with our companions, but though most of them just tell us to fuck off.
So I heard you're a SWAT, huh? Or were a SWAT. I don't think it makes much of a difference in here anyways. The outside world doesn't give a shit about us right now. If we all die in here, I don't think anyone will know unless someone makes it out and lets them know. Which is what I intend to do.
There's also another vent here where we can finally meet up with our old pal. He asks us for more codes for another reward, but luckily for him, I'm a loyal patriot to the Underhell facility and I gathered them all already. He also takes pity on Jack's hunger and gives us choco bars, which I consume all in an instant. He ain't too happy about that. Gluttony is a sin after all. He even introduces us to his new friend, Turdy, the vice president of the Hermitlands. The reward for the codes is the infamous CSS Radio, who plays such bangers like the And just like that, you know what, I think it's time to call it quits. This video was going to cover the entirety of the mob, but let's just say a few difficulties and unforeseen events made this video take way longer to make. Not only that, but I was planning on having just one video cover the whole mod, but that means it's gonna be like 10 hours long, and I don't think anyone has the patience to watch all of that, so I'm gonna make part 2 sometimes in the future. So yeah, look forward to that if you care. You probably won't. There's still a lot to talk about though. This mod really is big and has a lot of content, and it's also very interesting. And I just have to do it justice, otherwise Jake is gonna break into my house and kick my head in. Jeremy, the lead developer of the mod, also recently streamed it on Twitch and revealed some cool stuff as well, like how chapter 2 ain't exactly in development right now, but it's not over just yet. Anyway, yeah, catch you next time, if there is a next time, for any of us.